Well, today's a new day down here at Avalon in Cuba, and I get to fish with a couple of really good friends. We got Kathy Ruddock and of course Brian Chan, everybody knows. Today, we're getting to stick together. We're gonna do some bonefish hopefully. We got tarpon down here. Kathy had the, what do we call it? The fortune or the good luck or something? Good luck. Good luck. She got the actual Grand Slam yesterday, which is the bonefish, the tarpon, and the permit.
And the permit.
And you are the permit queen.
Well, we'll use that loosely.
Yeah,
I've had a few permits.
Every time you go, you catch permit, but you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Me and Brian, of course, you know, a few years doing our tarpon and stuff. You're getting used to it again. I got a few tarpon yesterday, so it should be an interesting day. We should have a whole bunch of different opportunities.
Yeah.
And look, they're already strategizing on what they're going to use. So.
Yeah.
It's that.
It's that one.
Right there.
Oh, that one right there.
Yeah.
So stay tuned when we come back. Some great fishing from Cuba. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that big dome. Hey.
I think it's a technique. I think it's a fisherman.
Some days are good and some days are better.
A lot better.
Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you in part by Islander, builder of world-class fly, float, and mooching reels. The Frog Boat, inspired by nature, ingenious by design. And the Freshwater Fishery Society of British Columbia. Catch what you've been missing, go fish, BC. You know, here's the key point to having two people in the boat, which of course I've got Les, the camera guy. He's doing a good job for me though. But that's why you have two people. See, Kathy's working Brian's line, and that's the second person's job. In the boat, when you're sitting down, you're always making sure that line is taken care of in the boat. You can see Kathy's doing a little talk on it right now. So we're starting with the bones. It is a little bit windy this morning, so we've tried to find a leeward side, we call it, where the wind, you know, we're kind of hiding, sheltered a bit. Got some bonefish here to start, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully later on, it calms down a bit, and we get the tarpon and the permit. So let's get a few bones. Got my favorite little pattern on. Rubber legs down here, critical. Little shrimp pattern, rubber legs. This thing's fantastic. It's got the heavy eyeballs. You know, these are eyes and tube eyes on there. It's got nice little glitter, but big key, rubber legs. Critical. Excellent. Fishing deeper water bones here and just bringing it through a little deep pocket. Kathy hooked one up.
Nice fish.
Nice bone.
We know a few were in there.
There
Guys
goes.
could see them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's a nice bone. Excellent.
Look at that.
Very nice, Kat.
Beautiful
Okay.
fish.
Okay. Come on, puppy. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Kat. You know, these bones are sitting right off this ledge. We've got a really good flat in front of us, and they're sliding off the flat in this little deep pocket. And we're just seeing them come off the flat and casting in here and picking them off as they come through this deep hole. It's fantastic. Oh. You know, down here, recommended setup, you know, large arbor reels. Make sure you get minimum 250 yards of backing, minimum, because they will. They'll burn you off 100 yards for sure. And there's a nice bone. And when they're active, boy, they go. 8-weight rod. You know, again, some people come down with a 6-weight, but I find if you have too light a rod, you can't punch it in the wind. You know, we had really high winds this morning. And without an 8-weight rod, you weren't making the cast. So I like an 8-weight rod, large arbor reel, and you know, all we're doing is fishing dry line. If we have to sink the fly down a little bit and get a little bit deeper pocket, all we do is just put some weight on the fly, right? We've got those different eyes and tubes. We've got some real heavy systems, you got some lighter systems. So if you have to sink it down, just put on a heavier fly. There's a nice one. You know, just your standard size, you know, a little 1.5 2 pound bone. Excellent, let him go, there we go. Beautiful, and we saw more, there's more coming off. Yeah, it's crazy. They're right in front of us. They're moving all through this pocket. We're just seeing them, and essentially we're just plopping the, look at this thing. We're just plopping the fly in, just stripping it through and picking off these bones. They're coming through here by the waves. This is fantastic. Oh, and we're in this beautiful little channel, right in the flats. You only get it down here in Cuba. It's just incredible. Oh, and this guy's going straight upstream. And I got to keep him out of the mangroves. And the best way to do that is go sideways. Do not treat them like a trout. Don't lift your rod tip up. Always with tarpon and bonefish, keep your rod to the side. There's a little exception on permit, and you want to keep them high, but this could be trouble. Oh no. Ah, he got off. That's the thing. Look at my line. He went screaming into the mangroves. And there he goes, he just got off. Now we're in the mangroves. Unreal. The fish went into the mangroves and he was still on. We were able to pick him off there and get him up. And here he is here. Another nice bone. You know, a couple pounds. I'll just try to release this guy right here. Yeah, that was incredible. Pops off, there he goes. Down to the bottom. Oh, I got a permit, I got a permit. I got a permit, it was unreal. It was great. Pedro got me into the permit.
Let it go, let it go.
Let it go, yeah. Oh, and he just screamed. These permit are unreal, they just scream. So with the permit, you try to keep the rod high. What the permit will do is try to get on the rocks. And if they get on the rocks, they'll get you in the coral and they'll break you off. So with a permit, it's almost like trout fishing. You want to keep it really high, and whenever you get a chance, put the heat on them and get them in. So you end up getting a lot of bruises when you get permit. But this is the way you do it. Watch still high, I've got the rod. Use the fighting butt and keep that rod high so they can't get you in the coral. Because if they get you in the coral, they'll break it. Yeah, hey, beautiful, beautiful, nice and slow. That's the way you get the permit. I found out from Pedrito yesterday, you nice and slow, real long, slow strips to get the permit, and they eat. And this is actually my first permit in Cuba. And I've cast through probably about 7 or 8 in my 3 years here, and this is my first one. So this is a big moment for me. And the nice thing is, he's not huge. He's probably, you know, 10 pounds, something that I could handle.
Only one cast.
One cast, one strip. Yeah, and he ate it. I cast right in front of him, and he ate it. There he is there. Oh, oh no! Oh no, my rod. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, no. Hey, well, we had him in. You saw it. We actually touched the leader. So that was a landed permit, which is good. But that's what permit can do to you. They break the rod. I had him in. Of course, he got out of the boat. Pedrito had the leader. So, hey.
No, catching the permit.
Yeah, the tail. He had the tail. And he's got off. But hey, that's good. It was a permit. Excellent. There's the rod. That's what happened when he got too close to the boat. I had too much bend in it. He was right beside the boat. Of course, Pedrito tried to tail him and he got off, but it's my first permit. Beautiful. I got the chance for the slam today. Got the bonefish, the permit, now I was in as a tarpon. Woohoo! Fantastic. Of course, I'm down one rod. While we're waiting for the tarpon to come out of the mangroves, we decided to take a break. I just want to explain to everybody how tough it is sometimes, how every day can vary. Yesterday we had very calm winds and the tarpon were everywhere on the flats. It was really warm. We had 40 to 60 pound tarpon moving steady, pods of 3 and 4, as you may have seen in one of the earlier shows. Today, again, I got the permit, got a bunch of bonefish early, but then the winds kicked up. We went out to those flats and it was very difficult. There was very few tarpon moving. So remember, when you're out here, they really want it really warm, I guess it'd be. If that water is really warmed up and calm winds, that's when you're going to be looking forward to the tarpon. If not, you come in the mangroves, pick a few babies off and really heat up, because it's hot in here. What do you think, Pedrito? They coming in? Any fish? No peche? Also, the reason we're in here is I want to catch a tarpon. I don't care the size, 10, 20 pounds. I just want to get a baby so I can finish my Grand Slam. The toughest part of fishing anytime down here in the tropics is getting a permit. They're very finicky, tough to catch. I got my permit before lunch, the 12-pounder. So of course I want to finish it off with the Grand Slam. So you know what, it's painful, I got to be in here, but I think I got a good shot at getting a 5 or 10 pounder to finish off what I call the trifecta, the Grand Slam. Okay, we're just waiting it out. When you're going after the big tarpon, you need a big fly, and a lot of times on the flats they want this bigger pattern, and the one I'm going to tell you today is called the black and red puglisi. It's a very nice pattern for fishing those flats for the bigger fish, and it uses some of those EP puglisi fibers that are very nice to tie with for bait fish patterns. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. We'll tie on a size 2/0 saltwater hook. We'll use some 6/0 red thread to tie with, some black EP fibers for the body, some pearl blue angel hair as the highlights, some red EP fibers for the head, some medium plastic black and white eyes for the eyes, some goop to hold the eyes in place, and a toothbrush or a comb to comb out the hair. To start the fly off, I've put my red thread onto the hook, and I've taken, just a nice clump of your EP fiber, not just so you can roll it in your fingers, and it's tough to explain how much to take, but you'll get used to it. Just a small amount, you don't need much of the fiber. We're going to lay it on top of the hook, and I measure back about 4 inches. I want this fly to extend 4 inches back past the hook, so I'm going to just tie it in a little bit longer. Only tie it on the top of the hook, 1 or 2 wraps, and then the excess you have pulled to the underneath the hook, and again 1 or 2 wraps there. So repeat this step a couple of times, probably 2 or 3, and then what we're going to do is put in our highlights. So again, lay it on the top, measure back so you're 4 inches past your hook. Again, just one wrap, one nice tight wrap. Bring that other material down below your hook and wrap it in. And after you've got a couple of these wraps, we're going to tie in some highlights for the tail. After I put in about 3 wraps of my black, I'm going to take some angel hair highlights, and only about 3 or 4. You want to keep this quite minimal. And we'll just wrap it out to the side, just kind of as tail highlights. And leave them long. We'll cut everything off after to length once we blend the fibers. So I've got my highlights in. I've taken about three strands on the top and bottom of my black, put in my highlights, and now I'm going to do another 2 or 3 in front of the highlights. And again, just measure back off the back of your hook, making sure it's long enough, and tie it in on the top and bottom. And as we get this fly a little bit further along, you're going to use a little trick just to add a little body to the fly. Now that we have about 6 strands of our black tied in on the top and bottom, we're getting quite a bushy body built up. I'm going to take about 2 or 3 in front with the red now. Same kind of thing. But now I'm going to put my fibers on the thread and pull it back and do some of the top. And then I'll do some of the bottom the exact same way. Onto my thread and tie it off on the bottom. And this is going to make this fly, give it some real body. Now that we have all our EP fibers tied in, I'm going to whip finish off here, and you can see there's still quite a bit of the hook exposed, and that's fine. That's what you want. You want that to have a nice silver head on that. Just whip finish it off. We'll put some glue on on the whip finish after we do that. And then we'll take it out of our vise and we'll trim. And before we trim, you can see I've taken the toothbrush and I'm just blending it all together before we trim. And taking that toothbrush just blends those fibers together, allows it to flow. Now when we're trimming the pattern, you want to be very careful. You want to just trim it to the shape and let it flare out. Let those fibers flare out because it'll take on the natural shape when you get in the water. And we'll start trimming to shape. And again, you want it to taper like a bait fish. So now that I've combed out the fly, combined all the different colors together, and I've actually cut it to shape, I'm going to take my needle and put a little bit of goop on there. You don't need much, just get a nice little chunk of goop on there. Get it ready. Now what I'm going to do is put it on my fly, where I want to put just roll it on there, roll it in, your fibers, and then stick your eyes on. So there it is, the finished black and red puglisi. There's a lot of different ways to tie the pattern. Some people tie it very thin with using, very light colors. Other people tie it thicker. I prefer the thicker ones when we're fishing for the big tarpon because it really does stand out in those flats and they do like it. If you're fishing for tarpon, have some of these in your fly box. They definitely work. There it is, the Grand Slam. This is the thing, they put you in here. Let's let this guy go first. We can let him go. Let the baby tarpon go. Whoa, there he goes, almost in the boat. So, we got it, the Grand Slam. So that was all 3 today. And when you go with the guides and you have the bullfish and you have the permit, they'll bring you in here to get the baby tarpon. You gotta muscle them, but just to get that Grand Slam. Now we can go to the big water and get the big boys. Yeah, the slam! All 3. Thank you. Excellent. So how you guys make it out? What's up?
Channel fishing. Trying to
Channel
catch a
fishing.
big tarpon in the channel.
So what have you done this afternoon? Did you get anything or just trying to fish channels?
Well, we tried to get that permit.
Oh, okay. None?
None. We didn't see any.
None.
Didn't see one.
You know what I found today too with that higher wind? It's just
Yeah,
shut everything down. So we had to go into the mangroves to get my little tarpon like you for the
Oh.
slam.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
So we got the slam.
They got the slam. Way to go, Don.
Yeah, well, little
We had
tarpon,
2
but hey.
yesterday, and then you today.
Yeah, and we went to the flats and it was pretty good. There were some big ones, but I had a couple chases, wouldn't eat it. So we had to go in there.
Nice going.
You said you'd never go in there.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to resort to things.
Things you do.
I know, the things you do to get that. So we're just gonna see if we can find whatever. I don't know, we'll go around, look around.
Okay.
Oh, I see him. Ready, lads? Oh. Oh.
Are you okay? Let it go.
Oh. That's a 12-weight rod. Wow, to see a big fish like that out of the water, eh? That's a good-sized fish. Beautiful. That's a good size one. The fly. Good. Hey, can you lift him up? Hey, hey, how about that? Here we are, revive him. Oh, he didn't take long. Excellent, my friend. Good job. Eh? Oh, oh.
So what do you think of the day, kids? How'd it go?
It's a beautiful day down here.
Isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
You know what? You can never go wrong down here in Cuba with Avalon. It's always a blast. And I got the slam today. Cap,
You did.
Cap,
You did. High five me, man.
you
That's
got the
awesome.
slam
I got it
yesterday,
yesterday.
and of course Captain Dave got the
Captain
slam
Dave
also.
got the slam.
Everybody, a lot of people here with the Bonefish and the Tarpon, the Bulldog, Rickster. Everybody had a bunch today. I happened to get lucky enough. But you know, we had the weather change. What do you say about the weather?
It's just totally changed. Last night it was absolutely flat calm when we went to bed, and it was stifling hot, stifling still. I kind of almost knew something was going on, and then the weather changed about 11 o'clock,
Yep.
12
Yeah.
o'clock,
Started
noon,
to rock.
and she just
Shut down.
It just shut down. So when you come here, that's what you have to expect. You know, we had a really good, I think, northerly winds. West and north, they say, is good. You get that southeasterly, not so good. But hey, you pay your money, you take your
Take your
chances.
chance.
That's the way it is. That's fishing.
That's fishing.
Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, it's the Bulldog and Rickster. Probably next week or another time. You guys better clutch up and perform. That's the way it is. So take care, conserve our waters, and we'll see you next time when we take you sport fishing on the fly. Not a bad day.
Cheers.
Ching ching.
Cheers.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.